Suge Knight. Yo, just hearing that name, people froze up. This dude wasn't just a CEO, he was a straight-up terror.
Developing news now, former rap mogul Suge Knight is headed to prison for voluntary manslaughter.
We are back on the record with tonight's man is
For the crime of Senate has been convicted in count 1, a violation of Penal Code Section 192, Subdivision A, voluntary manslaughter with the strike prior conviction having been found true. He's led an additional 5 years of state prison for a total unstayed term of 28 years.
Built his whole empire on fear, on hitting hard, and never, ever letting up. You heard the whispers, cats getting beat down, forced to drink pee, even dangled off balconies just to sign a paper.
They were terrified.
Suge Knight, cold gangster, the boogeyman of the whole music game. But then, there was this one cat who just didn't give a damn. Didn't care who Suge was, didn't care what he did. Slim Shady, Eminem. Suge didn't put a dent in him. Threats came, M stood tall. Didn't even flinch. This kid from Detroit, straight out of 8 Mile, wasn't about to back down for nobody.
He from Detroit. He from Detroit, man. He's from 8 Mile, bro.
Suge might have been the most feared man in hip-hop, but M? Nah, he was ready for whatever. And he proved it on one of hip-hop's biggest nights, the 1999 Source Awards. This ain't just some story. Nah. This is about why Eminem was never scared of Suge Knight. And trust me, by the end of this, you're gonna feel like you were right there on the block, watching it all go down. It's 99, the Source Awards. Big night for hip-hop. Eminem's blowing up like crazy. His album, the Slim Shady LP, just dropped like a bomb, and My Name is everywhere. He's fresh, he's real, and he's about to walk right into a mess he ain't even seen coming.
Well, in 1999 at the Source Awards, Suge Knight sent his henchmen, man.
He's there to hand an award to DMX.
Hello. What up?
What the cameras missed, what most people still don't know, is what went down right before he stepped on that stage. Eminem's walking to his seat, chilling, right? Then out of nowhere, he's boxed in, surrounded by Suge Knight's crew, red shirts, death row muscle. It's tight, it's close, and trust me, it felt all kinds of wrong.
M was walking to his seat, I'm standing off to the side, and M was cut off on his way to his seat, and all these guys in red shirts surrounded him. And I'm looking at M's face, and I'm looking at these guys, I'm like, something ain't right. So I start making my way around to come up the aisle, and next thing I know, you see all these guys talking about death row, death row. I was like, death row, what's it got to do with him? He said, hey man, Suge sent him a message. I said, oh, yeah.
The air gets thick. You hear whispers cutting through the awards show buzz. Death row this, death row that. Suge sending a message. Man, your gut would be screaming to bounce. But M, he kept it cool, excused himself, walked straight to the stage, gave out the award, and walked back like he just dodged a bullet he never even saw.
Where my dogs at? DMX! Why?
But yo, that bullet, it was still loaded. Cause Suge's crew wasn't finished. After the show, as M and his security tried to bounce, those red shirts were still there. Limo pulls up. And Death Row's crew, still lurking, still following. One of M's own security cats, Big Naz, later said the chilling truth. This motherfucker's trying to kill us, man.
After that, we got out of there. We called the limo. This is where it gets up. We called the limo. Death Row is still sitting out there waiting for us. The limo's pulling off as we're coming out. Death Row's behind us. It was like, this motherfucker's trying to kill us, man. What they trying to do? What do they want? I don't understand. What do they want?
Nobody knew what they were really after. But everybody knew, deep down, it wasn't good. They wanted something. And they were ready to go all the way to get it. So, why? Why was Suge Knight the most feared dude in hip-hop, the head honcho of Death Row, the architect of an empire built on shaking people down? Why was he coming for a white rapper from Detroit? To understand that, you gotta peel back the layers of an empire falling apart, a bruised ego, and a legacy drowning in blood. Mid-90s, man, Death Row Records wasn't just a label, it was the whole damn show, a powerhouse. They dropped classics that flipped hip-hop upside down. The Chronic, Doggy Style, All Eyes on Me. They were untouchable. But behind all those platinum records and superstar names, something ugly was festering. The name Death Row started to mean more than just dope music. It meant fear, intimidation, straight-up brutal control. And right in the middle of this hurricane of madness, Suge Knight. His moves weren't just aggressive. They were pure, unadulterated street crime. Talk about cats getting pistol whipped for using office phones, forcing employees to drink pee, dragging dudes into back rooms for savage beatings. The screams echoed through the offices, but nobody dared look up. Nobody dared step in. This wasn't just business. It was a straight-up gang. And pretty soon, other artists started catching on, following Suge's lead. Violence wasn't just allowed, it became the norm. The whole place was toxic, man. Dr. Dre, the musical genius behind that whole empire, he wanted no part of it. He was a musician, not a mob boss. He wanted beats, not blood. As the chaos blew up, as the violence became routine, Dre made the craziest choice.
Absolutely, and I'm always going to believe and bet on myself.
He walked away. From Death Row, from his money, from his earnings. For Dre, the music, the peace, was worth way more than any cash tied to that kind of messed up life.
Well, I don't lead by money. I've never let money lead my life.
He launched Aftermath Records, and Suge Knight? Man, he saw it as a stab in the back, a direct challenge. He went all out to mess up Dre's new thing. At first, it looked like he was winning. Aftermath's first project sputtered, couldn't catch that Death Row fire. And then, a cassette tape. Just a raw, rough demo. Jimmy Iovine and Dre, digging through piles of tapes, heard it. A voice. From the forgotten streets of Detroit. A kid who grew up dirt poor, bullied, beaten down, but never ever broke. Eminem, a white rapper in a black art form. The odds were stacked against him. But his rhymes? Man, they were pure fire. In '98, Dre took the gamble. He signed him. Together, they dropped the Slim Shady LP. It debuted at number 2 on Billboard, sold almost 300,000 copies the first week, won a Grammy. Just like that, Dre was back on top. And Eminem? He wasn't just a force, he was a phenomenon. Their partnership became one of hip-hop's most iconic duos straight up. But success, especially in that world, always brings haters. Suge Knight, watching his empire crumble from behind bars. Dre gone, Tupac gone, Snoop Dogg now a constant pain in his neck. He saw Eminem not just as an artist, but as a direct slap in the face, as Dre's new weapon. M had inherited the beef, and Suge, like a wounded animal, was ready to lash out. Suge Knight, always trying to stir the pot, he didn't just sit quiet. In a 2002 interview, he publicly talked trash about Eminem, trying to say he wasn't real, wasn't street. Is he really from the streets? Suge sneered. Or is he just playing a role? He called M a puppet.
What do you think of Eminem? Is that what do you think of white rap?
If you really from the ghetto and you really doing those things you rapping about, you talking about, I can respect that.
Right.
But if somebody else writing your rhymes, somebody else, is you telling somebody else's story, that really don't mean nothing.
Shots fired. But just words? That wasn't enough for Suge. His game was scaring you physically. Remember '99? Dre and Snoop planned a Death Row reunion party in Hawaii. Eminem tagged along. What should have been a chill trip to paradise turned into a police escort the minute their plane touched down.
You know, we were all going out. We were supposed to be on vacation and having a good time with our family and kids and wives, and just parlaying, man. As the plane land, they open the door up, and you got Honolulu police standing right there talking about, hey, y'all got to come with us. And it was about 20 officers, man. Say, hey, you guys got to come with us. Death Row Records is here, and they wreaking havoc.
The cops' message was clear. Death Row was there, and they weren't happy. A vacation almost turned into a war zone. Then in 2001, during the filming of 50 Cent's iconic In Da Club video, Suge showed up, not alone.
Suge is coming! So I'm like,
Suge's outside. Suge's outside. Everybody like, Suge. He was running, dropped his Suge.
He rolled deep. 30 Mexican gang affiliates, tattooed faces, a clear message etched in their presence: intimidation.
So Suge came, he had some Mexican niggas. Now we from New York. You ain't never seen a nigga with a tattoo on his forehead. 118th Street crew. I'm like, what the fuck?
The whole set froze. The air crackled with tension. You could cut it with a knife. But then, a moment that went down in hip-hop history. Eminem, without blinking, walked right out, face to face with Suge Knight's crew. The tension was a living thing, breathing, suffocating.
This is when I knew Eminem was real. He's like, I don't give a man. This is when I knew. I'm like, damn, Eminem is a real nigga. These niggas, 50 niggas outside, what's up? And then the nigga Suge just walked away. The Mexican niggas looked kind of confused, like they didn't know what's going on.
What's up? M said. Just 2 words. A challenge. A brush off. And Suge Knight. The man who terrified a whole generation. The boogeyman. He just walked away. No fight. No showdown. Just a retreat. That's when people knew Eminem wasn't just talking tough on records. He was about it. He wasn't just Slim Shady. He was Marshall Mathers. And he wasn't scared of a damn thing. In 2004, Eminem dropped Like Toy Soldiers. He explained why he hadn't gone all out on Suge publicly. Dre told him to stay out of it, to bite his tongue, to stay in his lane. And M, always loyal, he listened. But Suge, a dude who couldn't let go, couldn't stop poking the bear. Years later, from behind bars on his podcast, Collect Call, Suge, still trying to stay relevant, took shots at M's posthumous work with Tupac. He called Loyal to the Game a flop.
A lot of people been want to do like songs with Pac, and a lot of people, some people we did with Pac, and they never. There was only one Tupac project that ever flopped before, and that's the one Eminem did on Unreleased. All the rest of them were successful.
A platinum album that hit #1? A flop? Man, fans saw it for what it was. Another desperate shot to stay in the game. Another jab at the guy who refused to break. Still, some wondered, was there any truth to Suge's claim? In 2003, Eminem asked Tupac's mom for permission to produce a posthumous album. Loyal to the Game dropped in 2004. Sold well, yeah, but critics? They were mixed. A lot of Pac fans felt it didn't have his raw energy, too clean, too modern, felt more like an Eminem project than a real Tupac album. M stayed quiet. But for him, quiet often means something big is cooking. And then, early this year, 2025, the bomb dropped. An unreleased Eminem diss track from the early 2000s. It leaked. And it sent shockwaves through the whole damn hip-hop world. The track? Smack You. And it was brutal, man. Vintage M. No holding back. He took shots at Ja Rule, yeah. Mocked his height. Dragged his parenting. But then, the real knockout punch. The line that made the whole industry gasp. Eminem on record accusing Suge Knight of being responsible for the deaths of Tupac and Biggie. Direct, ruthless, legendary.
Oh, who's responsible for the deaths of the 2 greatest rappers to ever grace the face of this planet?
A claim so crazy, so dangerous, it could only come from one dude. And the sheer, stone-cold nerve of it. The fact that Eminem back then, when Suge was still terrifying everybody, was willing to lay that down on wax. It wasn't just a diss track. It was a statement. It proved it. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. Eminem ain't afraid of nobody. Not Suge Knight, not the industry, not the fallout, not the ghosts from the past, or the threats right now. He's ready to stand his ground. Anytime. Any day. Suge Knight built an empire on fear. He ruled through terror. He scared legends. But he met his match in a kid from Detroit who knew the streets just as well, who had faced down bullies his whole life, and who understood that real power wasn't about who you could scare, but who you refused to be scared by. Eminem. Unshakable. Unstoppable. The true champion of his own dangerous legacy.